We'll start the synopsis of The Promise of a Pencil, which is written by Adam Braun. Rarely have we done a book at the First Friday book synopsis that has been this impactful on every business best-selling list that we have seen. It debuted at number 2 on the New York Times business best-selling list, and it is still on the Wall Street Journal list, USA Today list, very high in Amazon. It is a blockbuster bestseller, and y'all, after reading this, I can't imagine anybody who would not want to read this book. It is novel-like in its approach and its content. It reminds me, if this was a movie, this is a Harrison Ford type book. There's action, adventure, peril, drama, and some good-natured things where you take a tissue out and cry. It is nothing short of spectacular. But y'all, this book is not a sales pitch for Pencils of Promise. This is a story about a man who goes through all of these journeys again, and perils and activities and tough decisions, and what he decides to do with these things and how to become really someone who does make a difference. So there are 30 chapters in this book, and these are called mantras. And as you go through each one of them, there's no question you'll look there and you'll nod. You know, that's right, that's good. I do that. I wish I could do that. I know somebody who does that. You know, these are good things to be thinking about and doing. So that's what he does in the chapters. Is he has the label of the mantra, and then he describes what happens. So what I'm going to do here is just tell stories from this book until I'm out of time. So later in the trip, he went to India. This is in chapter 4. Every pencil holds a promise. He was in a town called Agra, and he saw children, because, you know, this guy was a New York City American. You know, he had never seen anything like this before. Barefoot children, hundreds of them covered in dirt from head to toe, begging for money and food. 4-year-olds begging with 6-month-olds in their arms, and the pain in their faces was devastating. Now, they'd been told on this trip not to give money to beggars, because what happens is that makes them candidates for these gang lords that actually put them on the streets, and the cycle just perpetuates. So what he did was he decided to follow that and not give them money. But he started going to these places. He would ask, if you could have one thing in the world, what would that be? And one girl told him a dance. She never danced before. And someone else said a book, and so forth. But this is how this all got started. He asked one boy what he wanted, one thing in the world, and he said a pencil. And he said, "Are you sure?" He had no family, nothing, yet his request was so basic. Men came over and said, "Come on, you can have anything. He might give it to you." And the kid said, "A pencil." I had a number 2 yellow pencil in my backpack. I pulled it out and handed it to him. His face lit up. He looked at it as if it were a diamond. The men explained the boy had never been to school, but he had seen other children writing with pencils. For me, that pencil was a writing utensil, but for him it was a key. It was a symbol. It was a portal to creativity, curiosity, and possibility. Every great inventor, architect, scientist, and mathematician began as a child holding nothing more than a pencil. That single stick of wood and graphite could enable him to explore worlds within that he would never otherwise access. Up until that point, I had always thought I was too young to make a difference. But now I know this is my thing. Rather than offering money or nothing at all, I'm going to give kids pencils as I travel. And I can't tell you how good this is. If you don't win it today, I encourage you to get it. This is an action-filled, very, very touching story, and I can see why it is a blockbuster bestseller. I hope you enjoyed that synopsis of The Promise of the Pencil.